What the hell is going on? Like, what is going on? What the hell is going on? We are literally out here. This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Like, we have got like fever. We got fever spokespeople talking about this. We've got the contradictions between Chloe Peterson and Scott Agnes contradicting each other. And apparently now me making a video talking about it just being the season from hell. Me basically just saying, oh, it's the season from hell, and being like, Breanna January stepping on Caitlin Clark's ankle, re-aggravating a bone bruise, just shows that it's the season from hell. Apparently now, I'm responsible for fans giving Breanna January death threats. I don't think anyone's ever mentioned that. I don't think anyone has ever said those words. And I'm literally like in the video, I'm like, it's just a disaster. It's just an all-around disaster. But this is here. There was no timetable for Caitlin Clark to play, so it's impossible to say if it was impacted. What? So it remains the same, to give Caitlin as much time needed to ensure she's back fully healthy, which every day she's working hard to do. That's literally like saying, I shit you not. That is like saying, there is no, or this specific player somehow had this crazy fall where they snapped their left Achilles and they snapped their right ACL, so they can't even walk. Or sorry, they snapped their left Achilles, so it's a year-long thing, and then they snapped their right ACL. And they're like, you know what? We didn't actually have an official timeline for them coming back from the Achilles injury. So technically, it didn't affect the ACL tear. Didn't affect anything. Like, that's basically what they're trying to say. Because we have no timeline for her coming back, we can't possibly know whether or not this injury, which stops her rehabbing, affects things. So yes, Scott Agnes wins this one. I think Chloe Peterson's talking to people in the organization that wanted to make it, that wanted to say, oh, it didn't change anything. Can't believe people think a bone bruise wouldn't impact the return to play if someone already rehabbing injury. Yep. Translation, the ankle injury did set Caitlin Clark back, semantics, gymnastics aside. So basically, I would say Chloe Peterson has been told, which is what she did say, that, oh, I don't know if we can't say whether or not it affected Caitlin Clark's return to play because, she never had a return to play. Like, there was never a time where she was set to return. So, like, that's the logic, and I'm like, that is the most flawed logic ever. It is the logic they're using, but it's so flawed. So this has been a debacle. News W. None of this makes sense. Why are we making a simple situation so complex? If she's ready and let her play. If she's not ready, then don't play her. Health comes first. But getting your story straight and her status comes second. Yeah. All my years being a sports fan, I've never been so confused about injury and recovery, let alone the face of the league. The closest thing was Brady when he had stitches in his throwing arm during the playoffs, but that was Belichick being an asshole strategist. There's one injury I can remember, which is all these random confusing things, and it's Lonzo Ball's injury. And let's just hope it's not Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball, basically his career ended. His career ended over like a minor meniscus injury where he was supposed to be out for 4 weeks. And his entire career ended. Scott Agnes Scott Agnes was right about this. He was 100% right. He was 100% right. Meanwhile, Scott Agnes said it from his own mouth. The ankle did impact her current status. This whole thing's a mess. I mean, the argument the Fever have made is we've had no timetable, so therefore, like, they literally could say we have no timetable for recovery. So Caitlin Clark's right arm got decapitated. So, because she had no timeline for her groin, who's to say if her right arm getting decapitated made any difference? Or she goes and, like, that's just an example off the top of my head. Did I say right arm got decapitated? Right arm get chopped off her body. You can't decapitates her head. Or she just got decapitated. I'm sorry, it's 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. You can call me out for all the dumb shit I'll say in this, for all my misspeaking at 2 a.m. You're well within your rights to do that. You guys are well within your rights to do all of that. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, It's just one of those things. Worrying spilled in Caitlin Clark's injuries when Aaron Rodgers, Tyrese Halliburton went down combined. The stanzas that have been making injury fanfic necessitating these over communications. No, they literally said, like, what? I'm sorry, she injured her ankle, and they wouldn't tell us. How is this fanfic? She injured her ankle, which is going to affect her ability to rehab. She injured her ankle, and we hear about it 2 weeks later. Neither confirms nor denies Scott Agnes reporting the ankle injury affected Caitlin Clark's turn. No, it 100% confirms it. All that it means is that when Chloe Peterson says there's no timeline. So basically they've said there's no timeline, so it's impossible to say. So according to the Fever, anything, literally anything that stops Caitlin Clark getting back, because there is no timeline, it doesn't matter what, according to the Fever, it doesn't matter what it is. So like Caitlin Clark could have lost 3 of her toes. But because there was no timeline on the groin injury, apparently that makes no difference for her rehab. Like, that's the logic. That is the Fever's logic. That is the logic. So yes, I think Scott Agnes is right in this one. And I do not want to defend Scott Agnes. I do not want to defend Scott Agnes here. We got a real reporter. No one will listen to what you think, Scott Agnes. Scott Agnes is right. Scott Agnes is right. And I don't think Chloe's wrong, because I think Chloe was like regurgitating information, like relaying information from the team. So I don't have an issue with that either. But like, I just don't see how Caitlin plays another game. I don't see how she plays another game. Please take his correct answer. What did Scott Agnes do wrong in this scenario? He basically said, well, yeah, it affected her rehab because she was out, which is factually correct. And Chloe Peterson's technically not wrong either. Because if the logic is there is no timeline, so it is impossible to have setbacks if there is no timeline. That is the Indiana Fever's logic. Like, I'm not joking. That is their logic. That it is literally impossible. It doesn't matter what happens. She could have tore her other Achilles, for all we know. It couldn't. The ankle injury might have been a torn Achilles. But you know what? Like, did the torn Achilles affect her rehabbing her groin? Who's to say? She had no timeline, so who's to say? Her career's over. But I mean, the timeline for her coming back is 10 years from now. So who's to say if anything in those 10 years could have made any difference? Like, no, you can't. Obviously, I'm going to the most extreme for everything. But you cannot just say because there is no timeline, so therefore the timeline never changed. You can't just say that. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I'm sorry, that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. So anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it, lads. That's the video. That's the update. I'll see you guys.